guys, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about something called an MBITO, which you've maybe never heard of before. MBITO. It is a unit that is used for programming Mercedes-Benz options. And what I mean by options are things like maybe you don't want your seatbelt indicator to illuminate. Maybe you want eco start-stop to stay off. Maybe you want to change, I don't know, you could change the clock and how it looks, or the digital display in your dash. There's a bunch of different options. It depends on the car. Now, I bought this with my own money. All right, so the MBITO device is 70 bucks, well, 70 euros. It was shipped to me pretty quickly. I think I received it in like 4 or 5 days. It came FedEx, like FedEx International Express. So what it looks like is a little OBD2 adapter. It's got this MBITO icon on it. There is an app that you download for your phone. The app is free, but then the app has credits. So you have to buy credits to do certain functions. So we plug it in. We're going to turn our car on. When we open up the MBITO app, it will allow you to connect, scan for devices, found the device, click connect. Once it connects, it's going to ask you what type of car you have. So these are all the cars it works with, and there's a list on MBITO's website that kind of gives you some options that are acceptable with your car, like what you should expect to be able to do. So you don't have to buy it blindly. So we'll go to the GLK class, press this to scan the vehicle. It's going to scan all of the ECUs. If you see things like this, errors and things like that that come up on the screen as it's going through this process, don't worry about it. They will clear. Well, I mean, they all cleared for me. I would assume they'll clear for everybody else. But it's going through all of the ECUs that the car could possibly have and reading them all. And, you know, periodically we're seeing an error here, an error there as those ECUs are accessed. So see, that one says diagnosis right now. And that is fairly normal when you're working on Mercedes to see those types of things when you've got like an Autel plugged in or some sort of other programmer. There are credits, and you can see the credits here at the top. I have 20 left. So 10 credits were 10 euros. And then 30 credits were 24 euros. And then there's, you know, more expensive options as well. I found most things could be done for either free or 10 credits. So I'll show you some of the settings in here. So we've got an option to handle faults if you have them. So this will do like diagnostic codes. Service functions, which gives me an option to do like an engine control unit reboot. And then improve your MB. So this gives me enabling auxiliary, changing the temperature to Celsius, changing fuel consumption to kilometers per liter, disabling a seatbelt warning. Eco start stop, so that's one that I did do. So there's this eco button here. When this eco button is on, the car will have start stop enabled, meaning that when you stop at a light or a stop sign and you stay there for a second, the car shuts off. And then when you pick your foot up off the brake, it starts again. And Mercedes honestly implemented eco start stop really well. It's not as annoying in this as it is in other cars, but I still don't like it. Generally, you know, you get a little bit lesser AC performance, your fan speed's lower, and I think it's an unnecessary amount of cycles on the car for the minimal amount of fuel that it saves. So if we want to disable start stop, we can click on this, and this gives us a couple different options when we go in here. So in order to unlock this, I had to spend 10 credits, and I have the choice now of last mode, only in eco mode default on, only in eco mode last mode, or default on. So default on is kind of the default, right? So when you turn the car on, it will be on, always. As soon as you turn the car on, it will be on. You can turn it off, but it will be on. And then last mode means if you left it off when you were in the car last, it will be off when you get in the car again. If you left it on, it will be on. And then only in eco mode, default on means if you're in eco mode, and that would be like the eco/sport, this button right here, eco mode default on or eco mode last. So meaning like if you ever go into sport mode, it'll automatically disable it. And this car does from the factory have the ability to be in sport mode without with having the eco start stop still enabled, which is kind of a weird thing. Other features that it gave me, let's see, we've got analog clock, so we can actually change the way that clock looks, which is kind of a funny thing. We can change the pressure units to KPA. We can make the rear lights on with daytime running lights. So the daytime running lights for this car are only the front. The tail lights are not lit up with daytime running lights. So, you know, for all of those people that you've ever seen driving down the road when it's raining or dark and like their daytime running lights are on, but their tail lights are not because they're too stupid to realize that they never turn their headlights on. Well, This is a way to make it so that your taillights are on the Mercedes automatically when your daytime running lights are on. So whatever your default settings are for that, it will automatically engage. Your one-touch turn signal. So you can say one-touch turn signal would be what they also call flash to pass. So if I tap this, you see it blinks 3 times. Well, you can adjust the amount of times it blinks. You can do 1 time, you can do 5 times, there's a couple different options. That one I have to unlock for 5 credits. So there's an option there. So on this car, it doesn't do a whole lot, but let's check out Jessica's Mercedes SLC 300, because this is a 2015 and her car is a 2020. So I'm guessing that she's going to have a couple more options than I do. One thing that's cool about Mercedes, they have like a door that goes over the OBD2 port that you have to like pop open, so it always stays like nice and clean. I don't know, there's just these little things with Mercedes that are like really nicely done that nobody else really thinks about. And maybe, I mean, you could argue it's added complexity, but I don't know. I think they're nice. So we're in the car, double tap, car should turn on. I'll shut off the radio. And then let's open our phone and connect again. Scan, connect, connecting. I haven't tried it with this car yet, so I have no idea. We're going to learn this together, what it can do. But what I'm expecting is on newer cars, it's going to have more functions, because as time goes on, more of these things were just included. So you see this says SLK class R171 and SLK class R172. So this would technically be an R172. The SLK became the SLC in 2016. So we're going to scan that, and then we'll see what comes up. And actually that's an SLC in the picture there. Interesting. 76 ECUs in this one. My other one had 99. Or I guess the GLK had the possibility of 99. I don't think that it actually had that many. So again, we're seeing like the diag there on the screen as it's being accessed, and other weird things like that. Again, I think these things are normal and what should be expected, and something that I've encountered many other times before with Mercedes. Now, in the past, there is a person on YouTube and eBay, and his screen name is Vladimir CDI. And I've had him do on my other GLKs and my E-Class certain things. So he sends you like a chip that plugs into your OBD2 port, and then you, through the radio, can enable and disable certain features. His chip is about $300 if you want like, a couple basic things like disabling ECO start-stop, turning off the seatbelts. I think a tune, he's got like a level 1 tune, which is like 150 or something like that, which is a pretty inexpensive option. So for certain things, it might make sense. For other ones, it might not. This does not give you the ability to do any sort of sport tuning or anything like that. So I've got handle faults, I've got service functions, which is a ECU reboot again, and then improve your MB. So let's see what I've got. Screen type. So this is like the startup screen. Temperature units. So Fahrenheit or Celsius. Fuel consumption units. Liters per 100 kilometer. Seatbelt warning, we could disable that. And this one actually doesn't cost any credits to do that. Start stop, we can again unlock that for 10 credits. So it is per car. Stroboscope, what is this? Oh, this does the Knight Rider thing. Okay. So this can do this thing where it like blinks the lights, like if you're at a car show, it does like a light show kind of thing from the front lights. That's interesting. And then you have to put in like whether you have the static LEDs or dynamic LEDs. So this car is dynamic, and then you can enable stroboscope or Knight Rider. That's interesting. Needle sweep. Okay, so does this make the needle sweep, meaning go all the way from 0 to 160 and back down when you first start the car? That one's 5 credits. Pressure units, that's 5 credits. And that's kind of an interesting thing. Like the stroboscope, I would think, is kind of a feature that a bunch of people would want. The needle sweep is, I mean, it's fun for you as a driver, but like, why does that one cost and the other one doesn't? I don't know. One-touch turn signal, eco start-stop, rear seatbelt warning / message. This car doesn't have rear seats, so that's kind of weird. AMG car design. Enable AMG style of the car in the head unit. Oh, okay, so that's in the radio display. So if you, any cars that had an AMG version, and I ran into this with my, so I had a GLC 43, which was an AMG car. That one gave us the option to have like an AMG menu, and that AMG menu would give you additional information about the car. So there was like a racetrack function where it would show like a time, like you could start a timer and then like you can hit like lap times and stuff like that. It was all manual, like you had to tap it, but it existed. And then it would also give you some other things like transmission temp and coolant temp and stuff like that that you don't normally have inside the gauge cluster. So that was kind of neat. So the GLK, they never made an AMG version of it. It just kind of was what it was, right? They made a 250 and a 350. Brabus made an edition in the UK, but that really wasn't like, it wasn't a Mercedes thing. Or I guess it would be Brabus is Germany. Anyway, so with the SLC, Jessica's car, that is available as an SLC 43. So we have the SLC 300, which is the 4-cylinder turbo. It's like 280 horsepower. And they made an SLC 43, which had a 6-cylinder twin turbo that was like 380 horsepower. It's like 380 horsepower and 380 torque, which is the same engine that I actually had in my GLC 43. So that car would probably be a rocket to drive. I bet it's a lot of fun. So anyway, that's all. When you want to unlock something, you just press the code button and it sends it to the car. It takes 2 minutes. And the car reboots and it comes back online and it works. So I did a couple different options in my car. I had reached out to Vladimir CDI about doing those couple things, and it was going to be a couple $100. And I thought, well, this is relatively inexpensive, so let me try this out and see how it works. This MBITO. It popped up in my Instagram feed as like a targeted ad, but it actually worked really well. Now I have other things as well. This OBDLink CX I use with a product called Bimmer Code or Bimmer Link. Those are BMW specific tools. They also work on Mini. It's like BMW Mini and the other BMW based vehicles. And then I also have one, this is called an OBD11. You can see it back there. And the OBD11 is a Volkswagen automotive group specific. So Volkswagen, Audi, I think you can do Porsche as well. And probably some of their other cars also. So it kind of sucks that there isn't one that does like all German brands, like that works with Mercedes and BMW and Volkswagen Automotive Group. But, you know, it just kind of is what it is. So on the BMW side, you spend about $70 on the Bluetooth adapter, and then you spend like $60 on the app, and then you can do as many functions as you want to on as many cars as you want to. So if you're going to own several BMWs, for $130 you can kind of do whatever you want, which is neat. So I've done, you know, this Mini, my other Mini that I had. I did a friend's BMW before for him. There's just a bunch of different options that you have. Both the Mercedes one, this MBITO, and the OBDLink or OBD11, those are both credit based. Now the OBD11, I think I spent $130 on, and it came with a bunch of credits. It came with like 400 credits, and most things cost between like 10 and 30. The Mercedes one came with no credits, so you can do the free stuff automatically, but then if you want to do some things that cost credits, then you have to buy some credits, and that just kind of is what it is. So in total, I mean, I spent $100, and I have the option to do a couple other things. I have more credits in there. I could do both of our cars. I think it's kind of neat. The ones online, like the Vladimir CDI, while they work well, they are VIN locked, and you have a certain number of activations and deactivations that you're allowed to use. So that's, you know, another thing that you end up having to deal with. I might get a tune from Vladimir. I don't know. I mean, the car has 300 horsepower and it's NA. Like, I don't know they're going to get much more out of it. It also has 90,000 miles on it, so I don't really want to I don't want to ruin the engine or something like that over 15 horsepower. So it goes to 322. So from 305 to 322 horsepower, and it's $300 for a stage 1 power up tune. canfiltermb@gmail.com is his email. If you're interested, you send him your VIN and he'll tell you what's available for your car. So he gave me the option of stage 1 power up tune, 322 horsepower for $299, AMG cluster performance menu mod $199, Eco start stop last memory $199, Seatbelt screen and chime off, $69. Automatic parking brake off, $89. So, I mean, realistically, if you want something as simple as Eco Start Stop being disabled, it's 200 bucks from him, and you could buy this thing for $70 and then buy the credits for $10 to do it yourself, and you're into it for 80 bucks. And then on your next Mercedes, you could just buy another $10 worth of credits if you end up owning another one in the future. Anyway, thank you for watching. My hope is that they'll maybe come out with some more features in the future. I'm just going to keep an eye out for that. I think that they'll probably add stuff in. On my last Mercedes, they didn't really have something like this available that I could just buy and do myself. So, you know, it's nice that this is added and that we now have the option to do it ourselves. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a great day.